Lady Sarah Chatto looked emotional as she stood alongside other royal family members at Westminster Hall, where Queen Elizabeth II lies in state. The daughter of the Queen's sister, Princess Margaret, was joined by her brother Earl Snowdon, and her 23-year-old son, Arthur. The royals watched as the coffin arrived from Buckingham Palace in a procession led by King Charles III. Lady Sarah and her brother are the only maternal first cousins of King Charles III. She is the youngest grandchild of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. At her birth, she was 7th in the line of succession to the British throne, but now she is 27th. The Queen was handed to the care of the nation for a period of lying in state after her family marched in homage behind her coffin as it was carried to Westminster Hall. A gun carriage which had borne the coffins of her mother and father carried the late monarch to Westminster Hall, a procession of pomp and pageantry through the heart of the capital watched by tens of thousands who lined the route. Lady Louise Chatto and her son Arthur, 23, image, Timrook/Rex/Shutterstock. Lady Louise Chatto and her son Arthur, 23 were emotional as they stood in Westminster Hall, image, Timrook/Rex/Shutterstock, touching moment. Prince William comforts Kate as they leave Queen's lying in state. The Prince of Wales placed a reassuring hand on the Princess of Wales' back as they paid their respects to the Queen following a service at Westminster Hall. The touching moment was captured as the pair left the Queen lying in state. Read more here. In bright summer sunshine, funeral marches played by military bands added to the solemn mood that left some mourners weeping, while others held up their camera phones to record the historic moment of the procession. King Charles III led the royal family as they walked behind the coffin, draped with a royal standard, adorned with the imperial state crown and pulled on a gun carriage of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery. Shortly after the arrival of the coffin at Westminster Hall, U.S. President Joe Biden said he had spoken to the King on Wednesday to offer his condolences and shared the great admiration of the American people for the Queen. Thousands of mourners flocked to see the moving sight of the Queen departing the official residence where she spent so much of her working life at the heart of the nation, with viewing areas declared full ahead of the procession starting. Read more. Prince Harry's memoir to be delayed as sign of respect to Queen. Members of the royal family paid tribute to the Queen, image, Timrook/Rex/Shutterstock. All you need to know about the Queen's funeral. Key moments. Queen Elizabeth II's state funeral will take place on Monday, September 19 at Westminster Abbey at 11 a.m. Following the state funeral, the coffin will undertake a procession from Westminster Abbey to Wellington Arch, and then on to Windsor. Once at Windsor, the state hearse will undertake a procession to St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle via the Long Walk. A committal service will then take place in St. George's Chapel, with the Queen laid to rest at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. Will it be televised? The Queen's funeral service will be televised across BBC One, BBC News, and on BBC iPlayer. Sky News will also broadcast the funeral on its TV channel, Freeview, the Sky News app and via YouTube. Arthur Robert Nathaniel Chatto, the son of Lady Sarah Chatto, image, Timrook/Rex/Shutterstock. The new monarch walked in line with the Princess Royal, the Duke of York and the Earl of Wessex. Behind the King were the Queen's grandsons in a line, Peter Phillips, the Duke of Sussex and the Prince of Wales, who were followed by the late monarch's son-in-law Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, the Duke of Gloucester, the Queen's cousin, and her nephew the Earl of Snowdon. The Queen's coffin was transported on the George gun carriage, which carried King George VI's coffin from Sandringham Church to Wolferton Station in February 1952 and was used during the funeral of the Queen Mother in 2002. The crowds were treated to the spectacle of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment processing past along with soldiers from the Life Guards and Blues and Royals on foot. Don't miss, weather forecast during mourning period up until the Queen's funeral. Devastated Princess Eugenie wipes tears at Queen's lying in state. Princess Anne walks shoulder to shoulder with her brothers. Trending Charles, in his Field Marshal uniform, held on to the end of his Field Marshal baton, as he walked in step without showing any emotion. Anne and Edward, also in military dress, and Andrew did not betray their emotions. At Horse Guards Parade, crowds of mourners, many in tears, applauded as the Queen's coffin and procession entered the vast ceremonial parade ground, with the bells of Big Ben continuing to sound every minute. Harry, no longer a working royal, and his disgraced uncle Andrew were denied the chance to wear their military uniforms, and a few minutes later when they passed the cenotaph the royals in uniform saluted, while Harry bowed and Andrew performed eyes right and looked at the memorial. The bearer party, which carried the Queen's coffin into Westminster Hall, and provided an escort, were soldiers flown back from Iraq to take part in the ceremony, because of their unique association with the monarch.